Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our 5-Minute Bible Study series. Today, we are talking about 1 Samuel chapter 6, and this is a continuation of the story that started in chapter 5. So you might want to go back and review that one if you haven't done that already, so that the story makes sense. Free PDF outline you can get on our website at tobelikechrist.com. Let's talk about chapter 6. When did these events happen? Well, the birth of Samuel is typically dated to somewhere between 1100 BC and 1070 BC, and these events probably took place when Samuel was a young man. Who are our main characters in chapter 6? Well, we've got the Philistines. The Philistines were the longtime enemies of the Israelites. They had been in Israel since before the Israelites actually got there. The Israelites should have cast them out of the land, but they failed to do it, which is why they are now still present to give the Israelites trouble. We're also going to talk about the men of Beth Shemesh, which was a town or a city. These men were the first to receive the Ark of the Covenant after it was returned to the Israelites. The Philistines stole it, if you remember that from the last chapter, or they won it in battle against the Israelites. Now, the men of Beth Shemesh were punished by God because they didn't treat the Ark of the Covenant with the respect that it deserved, and we'll talk more about that at the end of our outline section. In terms of our map, this story is going to start out at Ekron. Ekron was a Philistine city, and they were keeping the Ark of the Covenant there. But when they decided to return it to the Israelites, they sent it to a city called Beth Shemesh, and that one is on the map. Now over to our outline. Verses 1 through 12 is our first section. The Philistines return the Ark of the Covenant. If you remember from chapter 5, God afflicted the Philistines after they captured the Ark of the Covenant, and they took it and put it in one of their pagan temples. The Philistines were stricken by tumors, and we also find out that they were affected by a plague of mice, according to verses 4 and 5 of this chapter. The ark kind of circulated around several Philistine cities, and then after a while, and after the plague and the tumors didn't let up, the Philistines said, "Forget this, we're sending the ark back to Israel." So the Philistines called their priests and their diviners, their holy men together, and they asked how they ought to return the ark to appease the God of Israel. And their holy men told them that they should make 10 golden images, 5 images of the tumors and 5 images of the mice, and then return those with the ark as a guilt offering. The Philistines made a new cart. They yoked 2 milk cows to it, and they put the Ark of the Covenant and the golden images in the cart. I assume that you can hear that. That's the mosque across the street calling the Muslims to prayer. We're going to press on anyway. The Philistines decided that they were going to release the cart without directing the cows in a particular direction as a way of determining where this 7-month affliction had come from. If the cows chose to go in the direction of Beth Shemesh, or in other words, go back to Israel, then the Philistines would conclude that the tumors and the mice had been a judgment upon them by the God of the Israelites. If the cows chose to go in another direction, then they would conclude that it had all just been a coincidence, and the tumors and the mice were just, it just happened by chance. So sure enough, when they released the cows and the cart, the cows went directly in the direction of Beth Shemesh. That takes us to our second section, verses 13 through 21. The Israelites regained possession of the ark. So when the men of Beth Shemesh saw the ark coming down the road on the cart, they rejoiced. They were actually harvesting their wheat during that time. So they took the ark, they set it by a large stone, and then they took the cows that were pulling the cart, and they offered them as a sacrifice to God. But all was not well. The text tells us that God actually killed 70 of the men of Beth Shemesh because, quote, they looked upon the ark of the Lord. The ark was a very holy thing that was supposed to be in the tabernacle. It was really something that only the priests were supposed to be able to see. And it seems like here the men of Beth Shemesh just didn't treat it with the respect that it deserved, and so God brought this judgment upon them. We aren't given a ton of detail about exactly why this happened, but you can reference Numbers chapter 4, verse 18 through 20. Even some of the Levites weren't supposed to look at the ark when they were packing up the tabernacle to move it from location to location. So then finally we're told that the men of Beth Shemesh sent messengers to another town, Kiriath Jearim, asking them to come take the ark and to take it to their town. And now for our application section. The Philistines viewed God as being worthy of honor, but you'll notice that they just thought of him as being one God among many. They didn't denounce their false gods when they sent their guilt offering back with the Ark of the Covenant, even though God had shown that he was superior to their gods. And you see a similar sentiment in the world today. Many people will express their respect for Christianity, even for Jesus, but only in the sense that Christianity is one of many religions that's worthy of respect. Those who hold to this view typically suggest that we can all just kind of coexist and respect each other's ideas. The problem with the Philistines doing this was that the God of Israel was in contradiction to their pagan gods. The problem with this idea in the modern day is that many religions, gods, religious teachers, and systems of morality directly contradict the others, and so they cannot coexist together. This sounds really nice, like we can all just get along, but when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it doesn't work. Not all ideas and not all religious claims are worthy of respect. We need to sort out the information that's available to us, the revelation that God has given to us, to determine the true identity of God and what he expects from us. People, human beings, yes, should all be afforded with respect. However, not all ideas are worthy of respect if there's nothing backing them. Coexistence and mutual respect sounds nice, but the slightest amount of research into world religions quickly reveals a distinction has to be made between which one or which ones are true and which ones are a sham.